I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dreams begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dreams begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drums begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soared into the light.
Hello everyone. Oh my voice almost died there. Hello everyone and welcome to the Glide Slope channel, and today we got a very special flight. As you guys may have noticed, this is a launch flight for a brand new plane in my hangar, courtesy of PMDG. We have the PMDG 737-700. And like I said in the description, it's not just a new plane for me, it's also a brand new plane for PMDG, recently released a few days ago. And what's so special about it? It's not just the one that finishes the NG family for PMDG. It's also the first airplane for the 737 fleet to receive a graphics overhaul, making it native to the FS 2024. And yeah, it's the first one. I believe the 600 has already received the same overall treatment, and next will be the 900, and finally the 800 will get the same treatment. What did they do? Well, mostly it's performance. You won't see many differences. We may talk about that during flight. You won't see many differences in the aircraft's looks and behavior, but in terms of performance, in terms of textures, things have gone a little further. We'll take a look at those textures to see if if there is an actual big change in them, but I would suspect that the changes will be minor, because we already seen the 800 prior to this overall, and it looks good. I mean, I'm not that demanding in terms of texture, resolution, and all that, so I guess I'm satisfied. Results may vary depending on the person, of course, but I think the current PMDG fleet looks okay. But if they want to do a overhaul, it's fine by me, just as long as they don't touch the performance. Yeah, the 700 is a bit rarer, Drexy. Luxair and a few other airlines do have it. Ryanair has it, a few 700s. The 700 is a little shorter than the 800s, not as short as 600. I would say it's the second most famous, I would say, 737. 800 being the most famous, of course, followed by the 700, at least in the ANG fleet, because now we're seeing the Maxes take over. And the Maxes, of course, will have also the Dash 9 and the Dash 10. I believe the Dash 10 is still to be certified, I'm not sure. But the Dash 8 is equivalent to the 800, and the Dash 9 and the Dash 10 are lengthened versions of it, of the Max aircraft. But this one right here is, I would say, the second most famous in the NG fleet. And without further ado, let's dive right into this Dash 700 737. Whoops. There we go. Alright, so we're in the cockpit and Betsy's sitting where she should. If you guys watched my previous post, she was floating midair up front. That was a little bug the plane had when first loaded, but seems resolved, so it's fine by us. So let's load the flight. We're not going to waste too much time explaining stuff because you guys have already seen the 737. PMDG did a good job implementing everything, and of course the 700 looks and feels pretty much the same. It's just a smaller plane, a little less fuselage and a little more clearance. Hello Andrew, Trexie, welcome both to this nice live stream we're starting right now. So we've already boarded the Simbrief, and now we're gonna hit the FMC. Confirm we got April 16 to May 14. It's up to date. We're gonna set this up for today's flight. Let me pick up my checklists here. Last flight we did with the 777, we flew with electronic checklists, so I completely forgot to load the 737 ones here because I got some paper checklists. Olá Dinesh, boa tarde. Good afternoon Dinesh, LPCB plane spotting. Alright, so let's go with the pre-flight checklist before we start inputting our flight for today. Parking brake is set. Now it is. Battery switch is on and covered. Ground power is connected. Just confirming, here it is. IRS selector set to nav. Done. So it's now the inertial system is starting up. Cabin utility to on. Let's go to the overhead. Alright, much better. Cabin utility is set to galley on. IFE passenger seat power. Let's set this to passengers emergency systems arm. Emergency lights are arm. Logo lights, so let's set up the external lights now. So wheel well is turned on for exterior inspection. We no longer do that due to time contingencies, but we need a logo light on. Position light set to steady. That's down position as it is. Window heat, it's mandatory to turn on window heat on the 737. On the Airbus and other aircraft it's automatic. Trim air set to on. I'm sorry, but this perspective isn't the best. Stand by. Let me turn here, and now, much better. Alright, so the INSs are aligning. They're telling me there's something going missing, but we'll get to that in a moment. So let's go back to trim air. So this plane has a recycling fan, not a trim air, but that's good enough. Recycling fan is set to auto. Where's the trim air? It's missing. I think it was a switch right there. It's missing. Maybe this plane in particular doesn't have it, but yeah. Oh well. Oh, it's yeah. The cabin temperature is also replaced. Specs left and right are set to auto for now, because we need passengers comfort above all. Isolation valve is set to open. Pressurization panel set to auto, very important knob there. Fuel pump forward 1, turn on. Altimeters, we'll set that right now. So let's go for the altimeters. So now, first of all, we need to reset the IRS position. So we press here. Actually, this is the last position. We can use it and set it up. And it's now loading. Nice. Let's go to route. Let's leave it there for now. So let's listen to the ATIS, or let's just read our DATIS. We got a little cheat. DATIS 1014. Let's set it up. Looking down here. So 1014 set and cross-checked, as well as our standby one. Flight directors both on. Switch left, switch right. FMC, now we're going to go for the FMC setup. So flight plan request, we're going to request Simbrief route, and there we have it. So Lisbon to Luxembourg, alternate is PG, I think it's Charles de Gaulle, isn't it? Flight initial is flight level 380. We do have step climb, I believe. Actually, no, that's our final. So we're going to insert that just now before I completely forget about it. Confirm, yeah, 38 done. So we're going to set the payload, set the fuel, and we're going to request GSX to load the aircraft. Yeah, I'm doing fine, Dinesh. Thank you for asking. So, request boarding. Use use jetway. So now it asked. Back when we were flying with the BA 146, it didn't ask. So it connected to our little airplane. It looked really weird. This tug here is mispositioned like crazy. It's actually clipping through the jetway. Jetway's connected. So block set, fuel set. So let's go to route. Flight plan request is loading. So our route for today will be quite direct northeast. So this is the alternate route. We need the main route. Where's the routing? There it is. So we're going to go through runway 20 via Exida 1 Sierra to the Exida approach, departure. And then we're expecting runway 06 at Luxembourg via the MMD2 Victor. I believe this is an RNAV approach as well. This is an RNAV departure. And we are expecting an RNAV approach to Luxembourg. That was an FMC message. What do we got? We got something. Oh, the doors are open. Of course they are. Nope. So the doors are depicted here. Quite an unusual place to see the doors, but that's what they did back in the day. Does this work? No, it does not work. Alright, so let's continue to set up the FMC. So we got Lisbon to Luxembourg, it's correct. So let's load the route. Alright, done. Now let's call our dispatch, not the dispatch, but the clearance to get us out of here.
Luxair 700 prepare, AFI to Luxembourg Airport.
Luxair 700 Papa, Lisbon delivery, expect runway 02, Exeter 1 November departure, squawk 2140.
Exeter 1 November departure. Squawk 2140. Luxair 700 per power.
Luxair 700 Papa, we back correct. Contact ground 121.755 when ready for push or start.
Ground 121.755 when ready. Luxair 700 per power.
So we got a different departure. It should be runway 20, but they gave us 02 via the same departure, exit at 1 November. So different runway. It could happen. That's why you need to wait for when they gave you the clearance to start filling in stuff. So we got our departure here depicted.
Pushback approved, face southwest, White Star 6645 heavy.
Looks good. We're gonna go through northeast departure. That's expected. All right. So let's go back here to 5, actually 10. I don't like to fly with 5 nautical
All
miles.
aircraft be advised, information Foxtrot now current QNH 1014.
1014 set and cross check. So our doors are still open. Actually, there's a lot more stuff. So flight controls, electrical, this is all
Air Portugal
normal.
442, contact Lisbon Tower 118 decimal
So
105.
FMC is
Good
filled
day.
in. Let's go for the performance.
105, Air Portugal 442, good day.
So we now know it's runway 02. We can import from aircraft. We already have all the weights in. Let's import the weather. So wind is 300 at 7. Outside temperature 17, QNH 1014. Let's calculate this. So acceleration height is 1,500 feet. We're going to take off with flaps 1. That's new. Usually it's flaps 5. I guess the plane is shorter. And 1 will be 86.7%. Takeoff 1 to be selected, and our flex temperature is 49 degrees Celsius. Trim set to 4.6. V1 134, VR 135, V2 137, and our takeoff vRAAS is 135 knots. You know, again, our weight corresponds with the current aircraft weight. Should be a little less, but this is because we're going to spend a little fuel taxing to the active, but still.
White Star 6645 heavy,
Right,
taxi for
so
departure.
we can go here to our initial performance. Let's see if it coincides for a change. We just requested the performance initiation
Taxi to holding
via data link. It should connect directly to the plane and to Simbrief data to give us the correct uplink. Let's load it in. So zero fuel weight 113.2. Let's check our performance. Oh, weight and balance, I mean.
Portugal 1931, taxi to stand 116 via Alpha.
Oh, now it's loaded correctly.
Taxi to stand 116 via Alpha.
So takeoff weight 60.09. Again, this is all in pounds, I believe. So this is the problem we saw last time with the 737, with the 777 actually. So I think we need to reset this aircraft equipment. No, sorry. Displays. No. Which one was it? Options? No. So this is different from the PMDG setup. So is it options? Brand new plane, guys, so I didn't set this up yet. Bear with me. Simulation, probably. By the way, IRS, I thought it was, yeah, it was fast. We need to make it realistic. At least that we got to set up for next time. We're looking for pounds to kilograms. We already did that on the 737-800. We just didn't do this on this one because brand new plane. Not here. So it's gotta be on options. Apparently not. Aircraft. Honeywell. Oh, this is equipment. Should be here, should it? There's a lot of things to customize, including this. I don't really like the ISFD. I like the single RMI, but I don't like the standby electronic one. Definitely not failures. By the way, this is the old school. I remember this back in the day when the 737 NG came up. You could select this type of PFD and ND display to represent the old school 737s. I find it very funny because it is an electronic display depicting analog display. So it's pretty cool to see, but really I've not seen any flight modern other than kilograms. Alright, now it's done. I've never seen any modern day aircraft flying with that. It's just a gimmick, I suppose. Just in case you want it. Now the zero fuel weight is correct, as well as the takeoff fuel. A little below, so it's 096, but it's rounded to 0.1, and that's correct. Alright, let's go to the end limit. So now we're going to select takeoff 1, and we're going to set our performance, which is 49 flex for 9er. That's it. And now let's go for the takeoff. It's going to be flaps 1, and our trim will be 4.6. I'm pretty sure QRH will give us different. So there it is, different airspeeds: 134, 135, 137, 130. Oh no, it's coinciding. All right, the 777 is a little different every time. So done. So FMC is prepped. We just need to set the trim. We're going to do that. Actually, it's not that far from what we need, 4.6, so probably in between this notch and that notch, the 5 notch. Alright, so we're good to go, I believe. Our passengers are loaded in. Are we still loading passengers? No. Quite fast load. Plane is a little smaller than what we're used to. Now the cargo loaders, the baggage loaders will not move out of will not move from the aircraft until we are ready for pushback. That's depicting real life operations, because you know there's always a delayed passenger that needs his bag to be put in the aircraft. Alright, so initial reference, we got plant fuel 8.8. Is that the plant fuel? Just need to fill that up. So come up here. Yeah, 8.7. Yeah, 8.8. It's good. So we got the difference between plant and fuel is just this. This is the onboard fuel, and this would be the plant fuel, just in case you are not utilizing the entirety of your fuel. If you want to, you know, distinguish that. Do we have our flight plan ready? I believe we do. So let's go to the takeoff page. Let's put this one. Actually, beyond GSX is working with this FMC, so we'll not touch it for now. As for radios, we got to set it up. We're going to use our HUD for takeoff today. We got our transponder set. Door is closed. We'll go back to the cabin in a moment. Door is closed. FMC is prepped. We're just going to search for our airport data so we can map our way out of here, and we'll be good to go. That's it. And as for SID, it's Ixida 1. Is it the 1 Sierra or the 1 November? I believe it's the 1 November. Which one is active? Oh yeah, 1 November, so not this one. Ixida 1 November should be up here. Ixida 1 November, there it is. Alright, it's a little different in terms of altitudes and speeds. Slightly different. Alright, we are good to go. Let's just set our airport chart.
Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec, taxi to holding point Mike 5, runway 02 via Juliet Mike.
Taxi to holding point Mike 5.
So we are standing right here at gate at apron 12, and we should taxi all the way from Alpha 2, Mike 1, Mike 2, Mike 3, Mike 4, and probably Mike 5 on November 2, depending on what the ATC gives us. So we're just gonna zoom in and put it right there, like so. For some reason my aircraft is not showing up here. Same thing happened yesterday with the PMDG 777, not yesterday, a few days ago. Because we're gonna end up flying at night, I'm gonna turn on all the lights here, because I know we're gonna have trouble reading the instruments in a few moments. So just adjusting the panel brightness all the way. I wouldn't put it maxed out, but certainly give it a little background. Same with the AFD. Oh, right there. All right, good to go. Let's call it in. Oh, first of all, we need APU.
Ryanair 31 Papa
APU
Golf,
starting
taxi
up.
to round 200 via Alpha 6 Uniform Mike Zulu.
Taxi to ramp 200 via Alpha 6 Uniform Mike Zulu, Ryanair 31 Papa Golf.
Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec, contact Lisbon.
So we're hearing the APU coming alive.
Over to tower 118.105, Alpine 41 Bravo Quebec.
Betsy's looking stunning, as always. Waiting for the blue light to lit up. So let's set up our performance here. So V2 is 137. Let's set it up here. That's our clear speed. Should be 135, so we're a little above that. That's okay. Back to charts. So V2 heading, runway heading is 025. And our transition for Lisbon is 4,000. I'm sure we'll be given an altitude after departure. HELNAV and VNAV armed.
Air Azores 127 at ramp 805, request
HELNAV is not
pushback.
arming for some reason.
Air Azores 127, Lisbon, ground
alright.
pushback and engine start
Oxygen.
approved. Face southwest.
Betsy tested on your side, thanks. APU gen on and APU bleed is on. So we just press this one, press this one. Ground power is automatically switches off, but just in case. APU bleed on, and let's turn off the packs for now. Bit first, so now let's call GSX. Yes. There's our gate agent. Doors been closed, jetway moving out.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Roger. So ground power disconnected and off. Let's get rid of the chocks as well. Put here, ground operation, remove chocks.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
I believe the chocks have been removed. Flight deck doors, all doors are closed. Yaw damper switch on. Done. Probe heat
Air Azores 127, request taxi.
hydraulic
Air
pumps
Azores
to
127,
on.
taxi to holding point Mike 5, runway 02
Fuel
via
pumps
Bravo, Whiskey
all
Golf
on.
2 Uniform 1 Mike 5.
Taxi to holding point
I'm
Mike
not sure
5,
if we
runway
have
02 via Bravo,
fuel.
Whiskey
Yeah, we
Golf
do
2
have fuel
Uniform
in
1
the
Mike
center
5, Air
tanks.
Azores 127.
Passenger signs are on and auto. Anti-collision lights set on. packs left and right are off. We're ready to start engines. So let's request push and start.
Luxair 700 prepare. At gate 117, request pushback.
Luxair 700 Papa Lisbon ground pushback approved. Face south.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face south. Luxair 700 prepare.
So in order to face south, we need to turn our nose to the right and tail to the left. Remove PMDG what?
Release parking brakes, please.
Parking brake released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Starting. Start number 1. Going to ground. Also turn on the wing lights. N2, inject fuel, enrich. Okay, now set this to progress. Oh, that's a lot of noise. Whoa. Very noisy. Parking brake set. It's a lot of noise. I don't know what's going on there. Set this to RTO. Start number 2. Whoa. It's like rattling my engines out there. What the heck is going on? Everything looks fine, it's just a noise. Check wrench fuel. Started. Set generator 1, generator 2, APU 2 off. We got a good engine start. Very noisy, sorry about that guys. We can now set our bleed air packs to auto. So engine 1 and 2 set on and TI says required, not required for today's flight. Auto brake set to RTO done. Flaps set to flaps 1. There it goes. Trim set, so trim 7.4 should be 4.6. Done. APU is off, APU bleed is off. Packs left and right are on, isolation valve is on auto. Let's go for flight controls check. Full deflection left, neutral. Full deflection right, neutral. Full pitch up, neutral. Let's get a better view here. Full pitch down, neutral. Full rudder left, neutral. Full rudder right, neutral. Flight controls check. Ground equipment is being cleared. We just need to see the pin on the guy's hand. There it is. The tug is moving away. Thank you very much. And we're ready to go. Request taxi.
Luxair 700 prepare. Request taxi to the active.
Alright, let's go to Mike 5. Before taxi checklist complete.
Taxi to holding point, Mike 5, runway 02 via Yankee, Alpha, Mike, Luxair 700 prepare.
Here we go. Needs a lot of breakaway power to start moving. So we're going through Yankee, Alpha, and Mike. So let's take a good look at that in the charts. So Yankee, so we're going to make a left-hand turn right here. should have done before, but we'll take a turn here. No need to make a swift turn to the right. We can go through not Yankee, but Mike 1, Mike 1, Mike 2, Mike 3, and Mike 4.
Red Horse 278 Yankee, taxi to holding point Mike 5, runway 02, via Zulu 2, November 3, Mike 5. Taxi to holding point Mike 5, runway 02, via Zulu 2.
So where this Airbus is parked here, it used to be a runway. It operated quite for many years, runway 3517. It's been deactivated because it was not only too close to the terminals, it had no ILS guidance system, so it was purely visual. And so at some point in time they decided to turn it into a glorified taxiway. I kind of like this little 737 for these types of routes. I believe the Airbuses are good for these types. A320, 319 are great aircraft. I love flying them, but I think the 737 does things a little faster. It's a little more of a sports model, if you want. So we need to set up our transponder to TARA. Let's turn on just my track IR here. I'm sorry about that. Done. So we're gonna set up our HUD as well. There it is. Transponder set TARA. Done. And we're gonna set our weather radar, turn it on. Set weather, and this one we set for terrain, FPV. So we're gonna stop at Mike 5, not November 4. There's another 737 from Norway lining up.
Luxair 700 Papa, contact Lisbon Tower 118.105.
Contact Tower 118.105, Luxair 700 per power. Have a good evening.
Being handed over to Lisbon Tower.
Air Azos 127, contact Lisbon departure 119.105. Contact Lisbon departure 119.105, Air Azos 127. Red Rose 278 Yankee, Lisbon Tower, wind 300 degrees, 7 knots, runway 02, cleared for takeoff, traffic 5 mile final, keep it rolling.
Runway 02, cleared for takeoff.
There is traffic incoming, so we're gonna make this quick. Before takeoff checklist, parking brake set, auto throttle is armed, takeoff data V1 is 134, VR is 135, V2 is 137. Terrain and weather display are on, landing lights will be turned on as well as strobe and steady, taxi lights will be turned off, we can turn them off already. Transponder set to TARA, and we're going to start our clock as we take off. So we can start our ET right now and call it in.
Luxair 700 per
Not sure it's going to give us enough time for departure.
Easy 2463, wind 300 degrees,
we're going to wait behind.
Runway 02 cleared to land.
Runway 02 cleared to land, easy 2463.
There it is.
Luxair 700 Papa, hold short of runway 02, arriving traffic.
Holding short.
Runway 02, Luxair 700 per power.
Red Rose 278 Yankee, contact Lisbon departure 119.105.
Yeah, dual bleed.
Departure 119.105, Red Rose 278 Yankee.
It only sets dual bleed if we have the APU running, but the switch is set on. This is a fairly recent change. Back in the day, if the switch was already on the APU, even if the APU was turned on, the dual bleed will lit up. And an EasyJet A320.
Luxair 700 Papa runway 02, line up and wait.
Line up and wait. Runway 02, Luxair 700 prepare.
Easy 2463, exit right at uniform 5.
Exit right at uniform 5, easy 2463.
Approaching 02.
That's vRAAS working for us. Telling us exactly where we are. She's gonna say on runway 02.
Lisbon Tower, Air
On
Portugal
runway
1361,
02.
Air Portugal 1361, Lisbon Tower, continue.
Wilco Air Portugal 1361.
Easy 2463, monitor ground 121.755, have a good evening.
Ground 121.755, easy 2463.
Is Fleep there on the spot?
Luxair 700 Papa Lisbon Tower, wind 30
Our good friend
degrees, 7
Lisbon
knots,
spotter.
runway 02, cleared for takeoff, traffic 7 mile final, no delay.
Runway 02 cleared for takeoff. No delay. Luxair 700 prepare.
Air Portugal 9.
Toga set.
Papa ready for departure, runway 02.
Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa, hold short of runway 02.
Airspeed alive.
Short of runway 02. Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa.
80 knots set. 100 checked. V1 rotate. Positive. Gear up.
Luxair 700 Papa, contact Lisbon departure 119.105.
Contact Lisbon departure 119.105. Luxair 700
Just put the
prepare.
little ball inside the little ball, the big ball.
Departure. Luxair 700 prepare. 1,700 feet.
Thrust reduction.
Luxair 700 Papa, Lisbon departure identified. Climb to flight level 190.
Climb to flight level 190.
190.
Luxair 700 prepare.
Air Azores 127, contact Lisbon Center 119.55.
Center on 119.55, Air Azores 127.
Speed check flips up. I only turn on the autopilot because I'm a single guy trying to do multiple stuff. It's much easier with two pilots. We can divide tasks, if you know what I mean. We can't do that on a single pilot. Auto marker warning, no big deal. It's OM right there. Didn't turn that on, but it's nice to hear that it should be something. It should be this one. But hey, if it works, it works. After takeoff checklist, positive rate of climb gear is up, auto brake set off, runway turnoff lights off, flaps retracted, on schedule, and autopilot is engaged after takeoff checklist complete. Transition altitude set standard and cross-checked. Climb checklist above the line complete. Beautiful sunset, don't you think, Betsy? We'll go outside in a moment. We no longer need the HUD. We can go here to the SID. And we don't have flight following, unfortunately, but we're going north to Exeter. Sorry about that. I need to turn off track IR so that you guys don't get these kind of movements. I was looking at my feedback from the transmission, from the live stream, to see if my the progress bar on top would be working. I do need to change that ATC code. It's not working correctly. Outside. Beautiful sunset, beautiful aircraft.
All aircraft be advised your formation goes now current QNH 1014.
Beautiful. Let's just confirm the QNH. We've just set standard, so this is the way to do it. You just set it on standard. After you pass the transition altitude, which in Portugal is 4,000 feet. Above that we talk flight level. Below that we talk altitude. That's very specific, Drexy. Go wash your hair. Passing 10,000 feet. Landing lights off. By the way, this is an option. These two knobs. You can have 4 knobs that will depict the analog or the halogen lights, but these are LED lights, and these are well, they only have 2 switches. But you should have, I believe it's 3 switches, not 4, depending on the aircraft. So I think that we're gonna, yeah, we are just about running out of fuel on the center fuel tanks. So we can turn off the center fuel tanks. Passing 13,000 feet. We're going to get cleared for the next altitude step, which should be flight level 380.
Crossing flight level 167, flight level 190.
Luxair 700.
Yep, flight level 380.
Good evening, radar contact, climb to flight level 380.
Climb to flight level 380, Luxair 700 prepare.
Set to VNAV speed. Alright, we're good to go. So Exeter will be our last step. Right there. So we're somewhere over here. forgot to turn off this screen. It's unfortunate that we don't have flight following. Something must have happened. Not sure what. Might be a little hiccup. Little plane, but still very robust. You saw that we took off with flaps 1. The Dash 800 takes off with flaps 5 usually. But I guess this shows what's the biggest advantage of the 700 series is that you can get a little bit, I would say, you can save a little bit on weight and thus get a little faster, I suppose, but you also get less passengers. So I think that's why the 800 ends up winning throughout the airline. The 900 I feel is a little bit too big, but the 800 is just about the right size. Not a lot of airlines picked the 700, but even less airlines picked the 900 or the 600. So I guess the 800 ended up carrying all the weight for the 737 family and is the real competitor for the Airbus family. Now with the Maxes, you will see that the Dash 8 is pretty much the standard for the 737 Maxes. I believe the Dash 9 and Dash 10 will be a little less popular. Not entirely sure about the Dash 10, to be honest. I don't know if it's ever been certified or if it's in the process of being certified. I do know that there are Dash 7s as well. I honestly don't know what's flying and not flying with the Max family.
Lisbon Center, Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa, crossing flight level 150 for flight level 180.
In fact, let me research that for you guys instead of trying to guess. The information is out there, we just need to search for it, right?
Climb to flight level 370. Climb to flight level 370, Air Portugal 93 Lima Papa. Max 158 Victor,
so there's the Max 7, Max 8, Max 9 and Max 10, just like I was saying. So there is no Max 6 that would be equivalent to the Dash 600. So the Max 8 is the most popular one. It flies since February 2016. Then followed by the Max 9. So the Max 9 is flying as well. What's not flying yet is the Max 7 and the Max 10, so I was correct. So the Max 10 and the Max 7 are still waiting for certification. The 7 being the shortest one, the Max 8 being equivalent to the to this aircraft actually, actually it's equivalent to the 800. The equivalent to the 700 is the Max 7. And the Max 9 being equivalent to the Dash 900. Now the Max 10 is a completely different air. Let me compare the sizes here. So the Max 10 is the largest ever 737, so the largest 737 ever built. It will be capable of carrying 230 passengers, so 10 more passengers than the Max 9, which is equivalent to the 900. So that's interesting. The 700, I believe, will also be produced, but I have sincere doubts about the Max 10. So we're on our last turn towards the top of climb. We can turn off the passengers. Actually, that's the climb, so let's go to passenger signs off. and we'll make that welcome back, Trexie. We'll make that little tour around the cockpit and the cabin to see the new textures. So far, in terms of performance, I think the plane's behaving very well. I don't have a frame FPS counter, but I like to do stuff by the eye, if you know what I mean. And to me, it looks as smooth as the 800. I had no complaints with that plane, and I do feel the same for this one. While we still have light, let's do a walk around the cabin. We're about to hit our top of climb, so we'll be cruising in a moment. Let's go back here to the flight following. So this is where we are right now. Still in Portuguese airspace. So let's take a good look. So one of the things I noticed when I was reviewing the 800 a few days ago, some of these textures looked a little, yeah, I mean, I can still see the jagged lines there, but I can't see some texture improvement, as you can see here. Pick your poison. Oh, nice coffee. The ground, yeah, looks worn and torn, but a little too pixelized. You know, the best company to do these things, in my humble opinion, is Inibuilds. There's a reason why their planes are so heavy. It's just because they invest so much in 3D modeling and texturing. I mean, this looks good, but I guess Inibuilds does these things a little bit better than anybody else. Phoenix is also good at that, but I guess Phoenix is more to the point. Inibuilds is more for the looks, and as you can see, when you zoom in to certain textures, I mean, these look good. The switches and all that, the screws, the little light bulb inside, you can see it. It looks okay. It's not overwhelming, but it's not underwhelming either. I mean, I don't like these pixelized things. They don't look that good, but hey, you need to go really close to see that. I'm being nitpicky here. Who the heck is gonna go back here to check on the textures, right? A lot of people do that just to complain. It's not my point here. It looks okay. What's that thing? Load limits. I never seen that sticker. Yeah. Betsy. Oh, so we can turn on the noise reduction there. And the ground worn off. These are metallic. There's no floor mats like in a modern day aircraft. Does this still come out? Yeah, it does, with the cookies and all that. Don't know what the story about the cookies, but it's funny. Now let's go to the cabin. So the cockpit looks okay. I'm not overwhelmed, but it looks okay. Let's take a look at the cabin now. So we've been here, we've done this, we can interact with this, but nothing happens. Just like in the BA, we cannot turn off the cold water, but does this turn on here? Coffee maker, very important, most important piece of machinery on board any aircraft. And I can still see some issues. I mean, this doesn't look very detailed. But at what point do you choose to be very detailed so much that the plane's so heavy that you can't use it, or you can just make it look good? You know, from distance, those textures look awesome. It's only when you zoom in, that's when you start seeing that it's all pixelized. But again, who the heck is gonna come here and zoom in on that and say, oh, the plane sucks? Nobody. I hope nobody. Does the loo door open? Let's test it. So as you know, previously on every PMDG FS to 2024, the loot never opens. So let's see if it does open now, or if we have someone inside saying it's occupied. I'm going to bet on the last one because I've not seen that on the changelog. Let's see. Not even that. The handle just moves, but no one from the inside saying it's occupied. It is occupied, by the way. Cabin lights are the same, so we can separate the zones. Currently, there's no seated passengers for some reason. Maybe because we need to open the door. Yep. So here are the passengers, and let's set cruise lights. Let's set cruise lights, and let's set it to white bright. It's turned on. Let's set sunrise, sunset. Why is it not working? It's not turning on here. Lights off. Yeah, nothing's changing. Oh, it is changing. Both zones. White bright. Ah, I see now. So we need to select here and then move down here, alright? So let's try sunrise, sunset. Nice, orange light. We can't really see it. Maybe when the lights are darker, maybe we can test that out. So for now, let's just put it on automated because it's too bright, I suppose. We reached top of climb, haven't we? Yep, we did. So yeah, coming down the cabin. These open, these close, or open. Passengers are, well, seated on business class here. Of course, this is a twin class. They are also single class, but I don't see difference in these. Oh, they put the screens on. Oh my God! You saw me complaining about that in some aircraft where these front row seat passengers are always facing the wall. Look at that. Don't look at those poor guys up front. They're just facing a wall. They have no screen to entertain themselves. I guess that's why they're using their iPads and reading an old magazine. But these guys, they have the screen. So PMDG thought about that, but only for the economy class for some reason.
Lisbon Center.
Overwing exits.
Good evening. Passing flight level 150 for flight level 180.
Excuse me.
Brian 06 X
Nice.
Romeo, Lisbon
I always
Center,
find
good
these
evening,
wings a bit
radar
too
contact,
reflective,
climb to flight
but
level 360.
yeah,
Climb to
they
flight
should be a
level
little less
360,
reflective. They're not as polished in real life. And I'm talking about all aircraft, not just the 737. It's not just PMDG doing that. So coming back to the aft, so a little less, a little more. Yeah, it's still occupied, but no sound. It's either missing or they didn't model it. Again, the coffee machines all the way to the back. This is the arm sliders. You can see that the sliders move down as well as the arming device down there. So if you now open this door, hopefully on the ground, the slider would eject from this canister, this huge canister here. And you can see the pressure here. Again, low quality. Actually, you can. I thought that was a gauge to see the pressure inside. It's not. It's just probably just the nozzle to pressurize it, or the valve to open up and suck in the air. Probably. In any case, this is not modeled, which is a shame. So if you do open the door with the sliders arm, nothing happened, and that's intentional. They said they not only is that not modeled, they probably would never will model it. So yeah, jump seats don't work. All lavatories are occupied.
Contact. Climb to flight level 360.
But
Climb to flight level 360, Nordic 3619.
occupied symbol disappears. That's weird. So everybody's got screens, but not the front guys on
Contact
business
Madrid
class.
Centre 118.275, Luxair 700 per power.
Let's close the door.
Madrid Centre, Luxair 700 per power, flight level 380.
Yeah, there's also a jump seat here.
Madrid Center. Identified.
And that's exactly like the 737. I do remember this jump seat. Very uncomfortable. Not for more than the 2-hour flight for sure. But not a lot of people took it, so I guess Boeing didn't care to make it more comfortable. These are the release switches there, and then you pull up there. Nice. Fun fact, we also have an oxygen mask here on the Airbus. The jump seat mask is over there. This plane is situated here. Just behind the... is there a thunder lightning I saw?
Good evening, flight level 380.
I think there's lightning going on. These can change. There's a alien or predator. Fun story. Flight operations management, PMDG or ground support diagnostics team, whatever, any tech. But I like to keep it simple. It's just an Easter egg, if you call it that. There's the airworthiness certification, although I think you should have 737-700 as well as the nationality, but it is a airworthiness certificate. All airplanes must have it. And also the registration there from the FAA. It's missing the EASA for Europe, but no one's particular about that. Well, some airlines, Drexy, they supply in-flight entertainment for your smartphone or your tablet. So they don't even have the screens, or the screens are optional. You can use your own tablets. So it's not that unrealistic that some passengers may not have the front screens. But I've seen business class and even first class. Well, first class usually have special seats, but in business class at least, the front row, I remember having screens in the front wall. Not sure if all airlines have it. I didn't fly every single airline out there, but I do remember the ones that I flew in, at least one or two, they had. Hello? Does this pull back?
Madrid Center, target layer 20 Lima, flight level 300.
Much better. Like I was saying, the marker wasn't on, but it still gave me sound. The sound was even off. That's on. Let's leave it on. So yeah, Drexy, it might not be that what's up with the flight level? Isn't it 380? Yeah, 380. So why the heck is still calculating top of climb? I'm gonna need to address that. Stand by. Oh, because it's selected 390, but that's not the altitude on. Same thing happened with the Dash 800. We inserted the altitude according to the OFP, and the OFP, when we imported it, it also set us for the correct altitude, but for some reason it wanted to go 390. We can switch off terrain here. Switch on WXR. Really excited for the next service update 5, by the way. Yes, I did fly with Air Luxair on their A320 a long time ago. I think I only flew with Air Luxair once. Don't know where, don't remember where. Probably Madeira. Probably. I don't remember if I went to Madeira in Air Luxair. But in terms of national airlines, I've always picked TAP Portugal to fly in regional. But back in the day, Air Luxair was good because they had slightly lower prices, but the flights were never the flights that I remember for Air Luxair were uneventful. That's good, but at the same time, I wasn't really impressed, and I returned flying to TAP Portugal. I think it was the Madeira flight or somewhere. It was inside Portugal for sure, so probably a short, it was definitely a short flight, but probably Madeira. I think it's either Madeira or Azores. I don't remember where I flew with Air Luxair. I wish I had flown with them. Oh, this should be placed in the off position. I wish I could have flown with them in their TriStar. They had a TriStar in their fleet for some time, but I couldn't make it. There was a flight I was supposed to take it, but at the last minute, the company I was working for replaced the flight, and I ended up flying on an A310 from TAP Portugal to my destination. But I was going to fly Air Luxair, but at last moment they cancelled. Not cancelled, my company cancelled the flight, not the airline. Air Luxair is today's iFly, if you guys don't know. So the same owners of iFly, the charter company, used to own Air Luxair. I don't know what happened. I'm not a business expert, but I think that Air Luxair was poorly designed in terms of being a company. And what happened was, after a while, they ended up declaring bankruptcy, and they sold the airline to some risk capital investment company, something, and they kept the assets. So they couldn't keep the entire fleet, but I do remember they kept a couple of planes. iFly changed the name to iFly. The guys that own Air Luxair created iFly, and they picked up some of the assets. Definitely the management transitioned to iFly, and they ended up becoming a brand new company. Air Luxair went extinct. I remember there was an issue with a few planes that were parked in some airports. They didn't pay for the parking and for the maintenance, and they were arrested there. And I think at least one Airbus A320 went to TAP Portugal from Air Luxair fleet. So yeah, it's quite a sad story for Air Luxair, to be honest, because they had great dreams, and iFly is not Air Luxair. So Air Luxair used to be a non-regular airline that turned regular, and they went face to face against TAP Portugal, fierce competition with TAP Portugal. But anything that's designed to go against anything else is doomed. All the time, every time, all the time, especially in the aviation world. So yeah, Air Luxair, not great memories for the Portuguese airline scene, but they did, you know, the company, the guys that owned Air Luxair, they moved on to iFly, and they're quite successful, I would say, with the charter business. They do ACMI, so aircraft, crew, maintenance, and insurance leases that they operate for a lot of different companies around the world. They're still a bit over the clouds. I would say they do sometimes venture into unknown territories, like what they did with Global Airways flying the A380 for Global Airways. And another thing I don't really appreciate in iFly, and I said it very many different times, is that the in-flight service is not great with iFly. I would say the flying and the maintenance must be awesome, but not everybody that I know that I never flew iFly, by the way. It's only chartered flights. I don't do charter, or never had to do charter. Everybody that I know that had flew in iFly said the service on board was very rough, to be pleasant. They say the crew were not nice. They were kind of bored with their work, which is never a good sign. And they were a bit how you say in English, they weren't pleasant. All right, so they were professionals, but not pleasant. I guess you get what you pay for. So if you want to fly to some obscure country and that airline you chooses to rent the plane to another company, you can't really expect that other company to, you know, be nice to you or anything of the sort. In fact, in modern day aviation, you don't really expect flight attendants to be pleasant. You expect them to be professional, but a smile is not even granted these days. And that's such a big difference from back in the day. Right, so we started time acceleration now so that we can get to our destination a little faster. Betsy looks comfortable, which is always nice. Let's see if I can scare her a little bit. What do you guys think? Should I scare Betsy or what? Let's scare her. Not even a muscle move. You're so focused on your ND, aren't you? She hates me. One day I'll get a smile out of you, Betsy. One day. So we got a nice little tailwind, 24 knots, that gives us a ground speed of 468. That's nice. That means that we are buying some time. We are expecting to arrive at Luxembourg at 2104 Zulu, but with time acceleration we'll get there much faster than that. So I would say we would be there in less than 20 minutes at least. At this speed, of course. In real life, the flight will take about 1 hour and 40 minutes, I think. Let me confirm that. I don't want to. I've never flown directly from Lisbon to Luxembourg, by the way. I flew to Luxembourg from Belgium once. So, yeah. So, where's flight duration? Predicted flight duration. So, out estimated block time 2 hours and 40. Oh, it's much more than I thought. 2 hours and 47, so 1 hour more than I was saying. So scheduled it's 2 hours and 45 minutes, but with time compression it will be about half an hour. We've already been flying for quite some time, about half an hour, so I would say another half hour, not 20 minutes. But hey, anything's better than having to fly the entirety of the flight, and you guys have to watch me watch instruments. Beautiful sunset as always. I love to fly at this time. It's not night time, but it's not daylight either. It's that little period of time that in Portuguese we call lusco-fusco, which is like twilight, I would say. So airlines that I flew TAP Portugal, of course, British Airways, Air Great Britain, which no longer exists, but it was flying for British Airways. I flew SAS, my favorite airline of all time. I flew KLM. I flew Iberia. I flew Alitalia, now extinct. I flew EasyJet. I never flew Ryanair. Don't want to fly for Ryanair. I like to fly Ryanair here on the flight sim. Just don't like to fly in real life. I flew TAG Angola, the worst airline I've ever flown in my entire little life. I flew Air France, Lufthansa. I'm trying to remember all the flights I did. My favorite airlines were for sure KLM and SAS, KLM, and TAP Portugal, but from that order. Don't know if KLM has the same standards today, but I really like to fly with them. But SAS takes the money. I loved flying SAS. And of course I like flying TAP Portugal because it's my airline, the airline of my country. Airlines that I would like to fly. I would love to fly not modern day Cathay Pacific, but I would love to have flown Cathay Pacific back in the day when they had the 747s, the 777s. They were a big, huge company going for and from Hong Kong. Doing that approach to KTAC, they were pros at that. We're cruising now through the Gulf of Biscay. We've went to pressed control. We've been handed over. This is where the rough weather usually stands. Not today, apparently.
Press control duty 30 Juliet. Good evening. Flight level 360.
So far, uneventful flight. We usually had GSX issues, or something, but not today. Actually, so far. Let's just wait for the destination, right? We're coming up on the ETP, equal time point, at some point up ahead. Since the plane is new, I'm going to set up my chase plane cameras if you guys don't mind. Might as well just learn how to do it if you don't. So basically, these are the main cameras that are preset by chase plane themselves. So like ACAS, FMC, it just moves in. And what I like to do is, in order to be a showcase during my flight, I like to pick stuff like the EFB and set it up as part of the slideshow that you see, which I call a slideshow. It's called cinematics. So we go here, MCP, and set up for cinematics. We also go for the tail, and we set it up for the cinematics as well. And the belly, maybe the wing too. All of these are already in it. So what I just did, let's see, overwing. Oh, nice. This one's nice. All right, let's go set it up for the cinematics and the other side as well. So cinematics as well. So randomly now, chase plane will pick as soon as I press this button. Chase plane will pick those cameras I just set up to be part of this cycle. So you see there's a cycle going on, and once in a while it goes inside and check the flight route progress, as well as the overhead wing and all those little cameras that you guys just saw me set up. So there's a little more vibration than what would be desired because we're compressing time, but other than that, it should be fine. What about you, Drexy? What airlines have you flown? Talk to us about it. There's one of the cameras I just set up, by the way. I think I need to reset this camera a little bit forward. It's too back, so let's see we are seeing the vertical fin. Guys, if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and if you feel like it, you can also donate. There's a link in the description for the Buy Me a Coffee page, and I would love to hear from you. Come join us in the chat if you feel like it. If not, just comment on the video. Give me suggestions. Where should I fly next? What plane should I fly? All that stuff really helps the channel bring variety, and I like to get you guys involved as well. Oh, so Ryanair, EasyJet, Jet2, Flybe, and TUI, all these are low cost, so that figures that nowadays people fly more low costs than standard airlines. Air France and Emirates. I did not fly Emirates. Believe it or not, I flew to the Middle East very rapidly, but I never flew Emirates. Back in hindsight, I would love to have flown Emirates because I think they have a great service, but I never got back to the Middle East, especially now with all those wars going on. I'm not seeing myself going back there anytime soon, so it's unfortunate. I flew to the Middle East in a very obscure airline, which I will not comment on. So you see how the cameras, these specialized cameras, they offer a cinematic view. So in the checklists, we are always advised to turn off the wing lights mid-flight, but I always like to keep them on. I don't know, it gives the passengers a nice view to the engines. Some people don't like it at night because it creates kind of a glare that bleeds into the cockpit. I understand that. It depends on the company's SOPs actually, whether or not you turn off your lights, your wing lights. The wing lights serve two purposes. Number one, to illuminate the wing and the engine to check if there's something wrong. And number two, to check the wing edge, the leading edge of the wings for ice. Of course, you can't do that from the cockpit. You need to go back there and check the wings, but these lights are turned on eventually during flight if there's ice formed, so that the crew can verify if there's wind forming on the wings. There's really no other way. The planes do have these little vanes on the cockpit area that allows you to see if the vanes get cold and iced. You can see them being iced, so you can perceive you can perceive the wings are also being covered in ice, but most of the times it's just a wild guess. So we've passed the equal time point and we're about 2/3 from the flight. Oh, Ryanair. Yeah, they are the kings of scheduling, you know. So they will eventually. They don't really care much about pilot comfort, passenger comfort. I mean, so. But you know, you bought the ticket. You know which airline you're flying with. I don't think you can complain when you pay those low fare tickets for Ryanair and Jet2 and all those airlines. You know what you're going for. I don't blame them. So we're coming to Brest control again, and then we go to Paris control.
Brest control, Luxair 700 prepare, flight level 30.
Oh, track IR just complained about something. So let's keep on. Actually, let's prep the descent to Luxembourg. So first things first, we need our METAR. So weather at Luxembourg, 1950 Zulu, that's about right. Yeah, it's a 1 hour late, that no matter. 050 at 8 kVOC, temperature 11, dew point -05, QNH 1025, no significant change. So looks pretty good, but let's set up our approach now. So coming back to the flight plan, let's go to the routing. We are expecting runway 06 with MMD2 Victor approach. So let's go. Arrival. So we got ILS Zulu. Let's select it. And let's go to the MMD2 Victor right there. Now we're going to check the chart to see which transition we have to select.
Luxair 700 Papa Paris control, radar contact.
So the MM1 Victor. MMD2 Victor, not one. Is it 2 Victor or 1? It's 2 Victor. MMD2 Victor. So we are expecting good call, higher. So one of these will. Should we go for VAVOT? So it's got to be VAV 3D or Ayrton probably goes to the other way. That's hard to say. We're going to need to wait for the ATC to tell us which transition we're going to take. We can't just pick it on the charts. So anyway, this is going to be pinned, and then the approach hopefully for runway 06. Let's pick all these, including the RNP and the VOR. So the Zulu approach, yeah, it's probably going to come from LX061. So let's just open beyond ATC and be sure that we're filtering traffic for us. So again, oh, all right. Oh, they're going to Paris. All right. ILS Zulu, MM2 Victor, and as for the transition, we have no LXs. So only the VAV 3D. So we're not going to pick the transition, we'll select it afterwards. As for our performance for the approach, you're going to land with flaps 30, 130 knots. That's it. So we got our reference there, 130 knots is our reference. Looks good. So now I'm going to wait for our altitude clearance. And for that, I need to verify where we at, because I don't want to get surprised and have to change the approach on the fly. Let's set auto cruise back to normal for now. I don't blame you, Drexy. I don't blame you, Drexy. I mean, low costs are cheap compared to a normal airline. Of course, I would pick a low cost if I wanted to save money. The point I'm trying to make is that you know what you're going for when you select a low cost. So when I hear people complaining, and I'm not talking about your complaint, because rough landing and rough descent, that's airmanship. That's the pilot's fault. But when I hear people complaining about low-cost airline, oh, they're not sympathetic, they're rough, they did mistreat you. I mean, that kind of treatment, and the fact that the seats aren't comfortable, the fact that you feel like you're cattle inside of a wagon, the fact that you're mistreated at the gates, the mistreated boarding, mistreated deboarding, like, that's normal. That's what you get with a low cost. That's why you pay extra on those other airlines. Not just to get a meal on board, you also pay for that sympathetic behavior. So when you don't pay for that, you can't really complain about it. That's my opinion. Alright, runway 06, accept. Let's prep our plane for descent, so let's call the passengers back to their seats. Whoops. Done. Let's call the flight attendants. Tell them to retrieve their gear, all that jazz. There's our top of descent right there at about 60 nautical miles, 60 nautical miles. We've been flying in sim for 1 hour and 50 minutes. But what you say, Drexy, rough descent and harsh landing, that's the pilot's fault. I always say the same. Regardless of what your SOP say, it's in your hands to make the flight smooth or pleasant. And if you don't do it, it's up to you. Even if the airline tells you that you need to land, they don't. But even let's imagine the airline says you need to land like 1,000 feet per minute landing, like huge impact. I've seen Ryanair pilots land smoothly. It's not like something you need to do. It's just a recommendation from the airline. But ultimately, it's the pilot, the captain's decision on how rough he can land the plane. I don't think there's any Ryanair pilot in the world that would be told to crash land their planes, and they would do it. It's not just their lives, it's also their health. Every single impact on those planes. The passengers may feel it on one flight, but these guys, they do it 4, 6 flights a day. I don't think they do 6 flights, but they do like 4 flights a day, always rough landing. What's going to happen to their backs? You know, spine compression is a reality. I mean, we're not jumping out of the plane, but there's definitely a problem with rough impacts on board. So at the end of the day, it's up to the pilots to make the flight comfortable for everybody, not just the passengers. And if they don't do it, because the airlines tell them to land roughly, there's a reason for that, by the way. The 737 needs weight on wheels to initiate all the stuff to stop the plane on the runway, and the sooner you hit the ground, the faster you can stop and thus leave the runway. We're still a bit far away from our top of descent. Thank you very much. there's a reason for that. So the 737 tends to land a little harsher in general because you want to get out of the runway faster, and therefore you need to do things a little different. You cannot really do that on an Airbus because the limitations are a little more sensitive. So the plane is a little more sensitive to rough landing or harder landing, but yeah. So I think there's a discontinuity here. Let's check that out. Yep, so I'm actually going to... So the discontinuity is between these next waypoint, CTL and MMD. I'm going to clear that discontinuity now. Probably because we require radar vectors out of CTL to MMD, but I think we're good. Alright, we're about 35 nautical miles from our top of descent. So we'll call when ready for descent. Speaking of Bordeaux, I think I will make a flight in the future for Bordeaux. I just need to confirm if there's a good, decent airport for Bordeaux. Just confirming my flights here. I'm not seeing Bordeaux. I don't think I ever flew there. I wanted to fly there. I'm just confirming if I ever did in my logbook. I mean in the flight sim. I flew there in real life as a passenger. Yeah, definitely don't have Bordeaux. It's something to consider for a future flight. If I find a decent airport, I will certainly consider it. Right, 20 nautical miles from our top of descent, I believe we can request. So, before I do that, let me explain why I'm taking my time. Usually, when I'm on the Airbus, I don't really care much about the top of descent mark. I can just, when they tell me to, I just start my descent, set manage descent, and they will eventually capture it. But things work a little different on the Boeing. We're going to have an E bracket right here on the ND when the plane enters the optimal descent. But as you can see, they're already giving us clearance to descend to 8,000. So what I'm going to do is, if I set my altitude here, you'll see that the plane will not descend until it reaches that optimum descent point. So it's only going to reach here at the TD. The E bracket will show up, you'll see a diamond descending, and it will only descend when it wants to. That's if I leave it to manage descent. But since I got the clearance, I can start my descent. And you know me, I know I prefer to descend faster than on time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set it up for the descent. This is the way to do it. You just arm VNAV and press it, and the plane will start descending. So basically we just disarm, then rearm, and VNAV, and now the plane will start descending. Or not. So it needs a little more persuasion, I suppose. Vertical speed, and just lower the nose. Let's start to 1000 feet per minute until we get the E bracket, and then we'll engage VNAV again to let it descend on its own rate. I'm sorry, sometimes I get these procedures mixed up between airframes, but I just showed it the correct procedure to force it down. So we're coming up on the very final legs of our flight. We just need to set up our decision height, which is 1,358 feet, so that's barometric. So we'll just move to baro. This is quite a high decision height, 1,358. I'm looking down here, by the way, so we need 5820. Alright, so baro set 1,358. Assuming we got the Zulu, it always goes to the, most of the times goes to the Zulu. So we need to maintain 3,000 feet. This will be a 3-degree down slope. We got 1,358 feet as a decision height for all categories with the ILS working. So look, this one is with the glide slope not working, and looks good. They just said runway 6. They could give us an RNP or RNAV approach. Hope not. So for now we're somewhere passing all the way towards Vevat, right there. And after Vevat, this is where we need that transition. So the Zulu approach will get us through LX06 India. This one. But I'm pretty sure one of these two points are from one of those transitions. So we do need to know which one we should take. Or radar vectors. So you see the diamond there? We're below it, so let's press VNAV, and now the plane will pursue the diamond. As you can see, it's increasing the descent rate so it can pick up this little diamond down there.
Expecting 1 Alpha with the VN for the 05 transition, runway 05 right.
It's basically the managed descent. It corresponds with the little magenta triangle here. So as you can see, it's going way faster than you would like. That's exactly what happened to Draxi descending to Barcelona. Very fast.
Control, Air France 1028, good evening, flight level 322. Air France 1028, Paris Control, identified, climb to flight level 330. Climb to flight level 330, Air France 1028.
But we are recovering the difference there, you can see there. So we are at 3,400 feet above the diamond in terms of the lateral profile. I'll show you the lateral profile, by the way. You can see it here. There it is. So we should be below this, so that this plane doesn't draw in the lateral profile, but it should, you should be within that bracket there, and we're above the bracket by 3,000 plus feet.
Enter on 126.47.
No big deal because we're so far away.
Victor, good day.
We need to be above 8,000 feet anyway at Vivat. So descent checklists, anti-ice, what's the different, I don't remember the meteorology. So 11, yeah, we're above it. We'll see once we get there. Recall. Where's the recall button on this plane? Oh, this is for the max. Never mind. Landing light will be set below 10,000. Approach brief complete. Set checklist above the line complete.
126.475 Luxair 700 prepare. Bye-bye. House control. Luxair 700 prepare. Descending via Melody 2 Victor. Flight level 275.
Luxair 700 Papa, Paris control, identified.
Andrew was here a moment ago. Not sure where he went. Sometimes he was away mid-flight and returns to the end. That's probably what's going to happen.
One Alpha, flight level 380. Euro 7 Foxtrot November, Paris control, radar contact.
Really, Traxi? I have no idea. I've never been to Luxembourg. I do hear people don't pay much taxes there.
Luxair 700 Papa, contact Luxembourg Director 118.905.
Contact Luxembourg Director 118.905, Luxair 700 Papa. Luxembourg Director, Luxair 700 Papa, flight level 167 numbers.
Luxair 700 Papa, Luxembourg Director. Good evening. QNH 1025, expect the ILS runway 06 with about 3 Delta transition.
QNH 1025, expect the ILS on runway 06 with about 2 Delta transition. Luxair 700 Papa.
Luxair 700 Papa, cleared direct Babbitt, cross Babbitt at or above flight level 080, cleared ILS runway 06.
Cleared direct Babbitt, cross Babbitt as well above flight level 080, cleared ILS on runway 06, Luxair 700.
So we got the Zulu approach as well as the transition via VAV 3D. So nice. Everything's working as intended, and as you can see, we are now back at the optimum descent rate, which is good. Previously we were 3,000 feet above, but now that we inserted the correct landing data, the plane has resumed its normal descent rate and we are fine, good to go. Just gonna insert here the 057 course for the runway on both. And we are confirming the ILS. It's supposed to auto-tune to 109.9er. Not yet, it's not tuned in. Last time we flew with the 737-800, we had an issue when I was messing with the ILS frequencies, and I ended up manually inserting the wrong ILS frequency, well, the opposite end runway ILS, and when it changed, I didn't change the frequency, and it didn't auto-tune to the correct one. So today I'm going to make an exercise with the 700. I'm going to see if it auto-tunes the correct ILS frequency. It should, based on the arrival information that we inserted a moment ago. We will see. So it's 109.9er as we saw here. That's the ILS. By the way, in case of missed approach, we should climb to 3,000 feet, direct to LX24 Foxtrot, this is the one. Turn left heading to LX872 and climb to 4,000 feet. And then go to DIK, so Delta India Kilo VOR next, then Delta India Kilo VOR. We should engage in a holding pattern and await ATC clearance. That's the missed approach briefing for you guys. Well, if they said it on the video, maybe it's true. Again, I've never been, I can't really confirm or deny it. It's probable. I know Luxembourg is a fiscal paradise because of the low taxes. That's all I know about them. Passing 10,000 feet, landing lights on. And seatbelt signs are on, so descent checklist below 10,000 feet to complete. Still no ILS tuning. I'm getting a little worried about that, but
Director Luxair 584, leaving flight level 152 X-ray.
there's going to be a decel here so that we can start our approach phase. Steep descent after LX67. 1,000 to reach 8,000 feet.
starboard at or above flight level 080.
So that's the runway right there.
IL Zulu runway 06.
Clear direct rabbit. Cross rabbit at or above flight level 080. IL Zulu runway 06. Luxair 584.
It should auto-tune to the ILS frequency. I hope it does.
Luxair 44 Romeo, contact Luxembourg, tower 118.105. Over to tower 118.105, Luxair 44 Romeo. Luxair 700 Papa, minimum approach speed.
Minimum approach speed, Luxair 700 Papa.
So now we're getting a minimum approach speed. Yeah, we're way too high now. We're very, very high. No auto-tune yet.
All aircraft be advised information engine now current QNH 1025.
Speed check flaps 1.
Luxembourg Director, Luxair 8246.
We're very, 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 very high.
Luxair 8246.
So we're gonna make a-
Director, QNH 1025. Expect
We're gonna make a 360 turn.
3 Delta transition. QNH 1025. Expect the ILS to runway 06 with the VAV 3 Delta transition. Luxair
Because
8246.
we are never going to be able to descend.
Luxair 8246, clear direct rabbit, cross rabbit at or above flight level 080.
So we're going to heading.
Runway 06. Clear direct rabbit, cross rabbit at or above flight level 080. ILS runway 06.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a 360-degree turn. Speed check flaps 2. Speed check flaps 5. This
low.
I know. Take it easy. It just went down into the stall buffer, then it entered Toga to escape it. We're still too high, believe it or not. I don't want to descend too fast, or we'll never decelerate in time. We're going over the overspeed bracket already. Altitude set local, and our local altitude setting QNH is 1025. 025, set and cross check. Still too high, but much more reasonable now. Let's engage approach mode. We're slightly over speeding. Let's get the gear down. That will help us create drag. So the ILS is still not arming for some reason. Now from the correct ILS frequency.
Luxair 700 Papa, contact Luxembourg.
109.9.
105, bye-bye.
Contact tower 9.710 Luxembourg Tower, Luxair 700
Yeah, it's definitely borked. I don't know what's going on here. Speed check, flaps 10. So again, I'm going to need to make a manual approach because ILS frequency is just not being tuned in. I don't know what's going on here. Don't know what the heck is going on. The same thing happened with the 737-800 the other day. So I'm just gonna follow here. The flight director is not giving me anything. I'm just following the raw ILS data. Speed check, flaps 15.
Flaps.
I know.
Flaps.
To the VRAAS, flaps 25 and flaps 30.
Approaching 06.
I know. Following the glide slope and localizer on the lower screen, the lower half of the HUD. Don't know what's going on with the ILS. I may need to do some testing.
500.
That was some wind gusts right there.
400.
A little bit high. Whoop. Whoa,
Approaching minimums. 300.
Check.
Minimums.
Continue.
Glide slope. Glide slope.
Yeah, I'm a little below glide path, but I'm right on the money with
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Reverse on. Again, I forgot the auto brake. I need to put this on the checklist. Cool. That was a complete stop. Smooth landing, not very abrupt stop. Let's get the flaps on. Runway exit procedures. After landing checklist, auto brake set off, flaps retracted, speed brakes. Speed brakes are stupid. They don't move correctly. Yeah, done. Landing lights off, strobe lights set steady, taxi lights on. Transponder altitude off.
Luxair 584, Luxembourg Tower, wind 040 degrees, 9 knots, runway 06, clear turn.
APU, startup.
Luxair 584.
Done.
Luxair 700 compile. Request taxi to assign.
Terrain and weather display. Off.
Luxair 700, Papa, taxi to stand Alpha 6 via Delta 2 Echo Bravo 1 Lima 1 Lima.
Alpha
Taxi to
6.
stand Alpha 6 by Delta 2 Echo Bravo 1 Lima 1 Lima. Luxair 700 propel.
Done. Terrain and weather display off and clock set stop. Done. After landing checklist completed. Yeah, don't know what's going on with the ILS on the 737 PMDG. I need to take a good look at that in the future offline flight. So we are going to stand Alpha 6. Plane airport isn't that big, so we should be okay. So Alpha 6 is this one. We should proceed via Delta 2. Then Echo Bravo 1, that's it. And then Lima 1, the last turn to the left, and Lima all the way to Alpha 6. Whoa, I'm on the grass. Betsy, you need to help me. I'm doing this stuff. Come on. So let's look for... This is Lima 8. What do we got? Air conditioning. That's because we need to open the isolation valve. Still no? Because it's in dual bleed.
Luxembourg Tower, Luxair 8246, IL Zulu runway 06.
Luxair 8246, Luxembourg Tower.
Lima 6.
Blue code Luxair 8246.
Lima 5. Some Luxair aircraft there. Lima 4. You can see that the ILS is still crossed, so it's still not tuned in.
Luxair 584, exit left at Alpha 1. Exit left at Alpha 1, Luxair 584.
I mean, it's tuned in because we had the diamonds. It's just not giving us the correct data. Lima 2, so Lima 1 is the last turn left.
Wind 040 degrees, 9 knots, runway 06, cleared to land.
Did GSX selected? Yep, Alpha 6. Aéroport de Luxembourg. So this is Lima 1. Turning in.
Luxair 584, taxi to stand Alpha 10 via Delta 1 Bravo 1 Lima 2 Lima. Taxi to stand Alpha 10 via Delta 1 Bravo 1 Lima 2 Lima, Luxair 584.
And now searching for Alpha 6. So that's the one. And it's got a marshaller. To the left. it says we over. Well, next time giving me more clearance. Alright, parking brake set. And engines off.
Exit left at Alpha 1.
Exit left at Alpha 1, Luxair 8246.
Alright, we're good to go. Let's request deboarding. Here comes the jetway. A bit too far? What do you mean a bit too far? Am I a bit too far? Ah, come on. Right on the money. Little off to the right, that you can complain, but it's not that far. Besides, you need to wave. Nah, it's okay. You need to wave off a little sooner than there, buddy. All right. Parking checklist. Parking brake is set. Taxi lights are off. Chocks set. Not yet, but they will be. Set chocks. Set the chocks, man. There it is. External power requested. APU when connected. Fuel control switch is off. Anti-collision lights are off. Flight directors not very helpful for today. Off. Passenger signs. We got ground power. And we can turn off the APU. Yaw damper 2 off. Hydraulic pumps 2 off. The electrical hydraulic pumps 2 off. Fuel pumps 2 off. And probe heat 2 off. Doors are open. Forward entry, cargo forward and aft. Alright, welcome to Luxembourg. Again, I had issues with the ILS. I really need to review that. I don't know what's going on. I had the very same issue with the Dash 800. So probably something that I need to review. Not sure. I will review it in the next few days before I go back to the 737. But overall impressions on the Dash 700. Yeah, you can see the difference in size, by the way. That's an 800, right? That's a Max, actually, right next to these to our 700. Really cool plane. PMDG done it again, I guess. They've been doing that for years now. Quite a good airplane. Oh, hello, MC Richard. Didn't see you there. Nice. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, that VDGS was not here, so I guess this airport does not have automatic guidance. But I'll check that as well. Not sure if that's the case. As for the 737-700, yes, a little shorter than the 800, so I guess you might want to take this plane to smaller airfields or more regional airfields, although I think that's the 600 role. But still, I like the 700 very much. It is still, it does still pack quite a punch compared to the 800. But when it comes to what PMDG promises with this plane, so that texture overhaul, you guys saw that there was still some issues with it. I guess it's better than before, but then again, I'm not that demanding with the quality of the textures. Even though I don't like to see blurry textures, I'm okay with seeing a little pixelization. It's alright, as long as the plane itself is not heavy. And that's the key point. PMDG did a great job with optimization for MFS 2024, and I think they did a good job here with this new texture improvement, because I did not see any performance spikes, and so that's a good sign. That means that whatever they've done, and they've extensively reviewed the textures, it's not a heavy upgrade, so that's a good sign. We don't want to fly a slideshow. We want to fly a nice aircraft with good textures and doesn't offer a compromise. I like Airbus myself, it's the thing for me, but when I go to Boeing aircraft, I always pick PMDG. Nowadays there aren't many challenges anyway, there are not many people developing Boeing, but when it comes to the 737, over time we flew a lot of different brands, and PMDG always delivered. This is the same. This is again the same case. They did deliver with the 700. They did deliver before with all the other aircraft, but this one with all the cabin optimization for the textures and performance, I think nowadays this is the ultimate 737. Until they do the MAX, there's the NG 737 NG, and it is great if you if you choose PMDG. You're not going to be disappointed. But is it worth the money to buy these different aircraft from the fleet? In my the 800 disappeared. In my humble opinion, I would choose the one you want to fly, the 800, the 700. I don't think anybody these days would pick the 900 or the 600 unless you really want to, because at the end of the day, each pack has its price, and it becomes a little expensive. But I think this is a good case of choose what you want, choose what you're going to fly, and I guess you don't have to buy all the other planes if you're not going to fly them. You're not obliged to. If you do, be prepared. It is expensive to buy all 4 planes, but do you want to choose? I would choose the 800 over the 700. This is my humble opinion. That's the one I purchased. PMDG offered me access to this Dash 700, and I appreciate it. I like it. I love it. But if I wanted to buy it, I would stick with my first choice, which was the 800. If you don't have any plane and you want to start with one of these PMDG aircraft, either will be good. Either the 800 or the 700. If you want a smaller plane for smaller airfields, this one's the one to go. The 800 is just a little... Oh, it's going through the engine there. The 800 is a little longer than this aircraft. There's a slight more chance of tail strike, for example, but that's about it. They're both very similar. They're just different in size. But there's one plus for the 800 I'll give you right now. The number of airlines and the number of destinations this plane flies to. So you see here, Luxair there's another 700 there. So Luxair does have the 700. Ryanair has a 700. A lot of different airlines fly the 700. But if you want to do airlines, be sure to confirm that your airline flies the 700, because most likely they'll be flying the 800. So that's another thing to choose when you're going to buy it. Just pay good attention. I'm going to tell you my experience. I had issues purchasing the 777-200LR because not a lot of airlines fly the 200LR, and I'm stick to flying with either what the airlines that do fly it or with fictional. So last time I flew with the fictional British Airways. British Airways does not have the LR, and I have to live with that. If I want to fly a different airline that does have the 200 ER but not the LR, if no one paints it, then I'll not be able to fly it. So again, all these things take into account. The 700 is not that popular, so remember that if you want to fly a specific airline. And if you really want to fly the 700, understand that you will have to make a few compromises. But again, in terms of performance, you will not be disappointed. As for the new textures, yeah, I guess so. You guys saw it. There's some pixelization still, but it's better than it was before, for sure. Alright, that's it. Thank you, Richard. I try to be as honest as I can, even though I was given this airplane by PMDG for free. I'll come clean about that. I'm always going to be honest with you guys, and I could speak wonders about the plane, but and I can speak wonders about it because it's really good performance, but I have to be honest still, and I think you guys appreciate that. That's why you guys visit me. You want to hear the thing as it is, and I say it as it is. All right, guys. Again, thank you. Welcome to Luxembourg. Next destination will be out of Luxembourg. Give me ideas of whatever you want to go. I will certainly take into account. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I have other plans, but don't still keep those suggestions coming. I'll certainly take a good look at them. All right, guys, please, if you didn't already, leave a like, subscribe to this channel. It really helps. You can also donate if you choose. There's a link in the description for the Buy Me a Coffee page, but all I want is that you guys visit and enjoy the content. I'll see you next time, and thank you so much for your attention. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Drexy. And of course, thank you, Dinesh and Richard, my good friend Richard. It's been quite some time since we talked. I hope you enjoyed as well. I hope you're doing great with your A321neo as you regularly fly with it. And guys, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much again. Bye-bye.
To touch the light, adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. Spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drums begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the